Welcome to the Willows for this first home game of the season for Salford. The visitors today are Hull. They're just taking the field at the minute. Salford will show their new strip at home for the first time, and coming into this game with several of their new signings on show today. Mike Gregory's there and Sam Panapa's there, and substitutes today will be Gregory and Cliff Eccles, one of the other new recruits. Salford last week had a close game at Wakefield and in the end went down by 13 points to 10, somewhat unluckily. So if the Salford team just coming out onto the field, we'll hear the applause led out by their mascot. We'll talk about her in a minute, but the Salford team today is Gary Tyrers at full-back, the three-quarters. Great cheers for the Red Devils. Jason Critchley, Sam Panapa, Scott Naylor and Phil Ford. Half-back Steve Blakely and Sean Brown. And in the forwards, David Young, Jonathan Quigley, Bob Marsden, Paul Forber, Ian Blease and Mike Gregory. And substitutes Andy Gregory and Cliff Eccles making his debut for the club. So one or two positional changes. Mark Lee omitted today, and Jonathan Quigley, having played scrum half last week, is in the number 9 spot. Well, there are two colleagues over from Hull, Brian and Steve. Steve, would you like to tell us about the Hull team, please?
Certainly, Steve. The Hull side shows one change in the initial 13 from last week's 16 all draw with Warrington. Richard Gay, who is a key man in the Hull attack, is missing. Craig O'Donnell comes in at full-back. And one change on the bench. We should see the debut today of Steve Craven, who was signed last weekend from York. Dean Busby has been relegated to the A-team to make space for Craven. So the whole side as it lines up, Craig O'Donnell is at full-back, Leroy Mackenzie and Brandon Greenwood on the wings, with Gary Nolan and Rob Danby in the centres. Rob Nolan and Mark Hewitt, the half-back pairing. Russ Walker, Mike Dixon and Tim Street, the front row. Steve McNamara, Rob Wilson, the second row. And John Sharp is in at loose forward. The two substitutes for Hull today, Terry Smirk and Steve Craven. And Steve Craven has been bought by coach Tony Gordon to bolster the forward pack. See him as a player who is a strong, hard runner. I think Tony Gordon was quoted as saying that when London played against York last year, he was a player who came back the more strong every time he was hit. So we'll be looking forward to a good performance from this boy in a long-term career at Hull. But Salford defeated at Wakefield last week in their opening match, 13-10 fairly narrowly. It'll take a little while for these key new men to fit in, I suppose. One is Sam Panapa and Mike Gregory, two astute buys, though, I would have thought.
Oh yes, we're all expecting great things from them. And just before we get on with the game, let me just make a special mention of Alexa Bradburn. She was Salford's mascot today, and it must be a great thrill for all these kids when they get the chance to be on the pitch with their heroes. Hers are Jason Critchley and Phil Ford. Good luck to her as the game gets underway. Salford with the kick-off and Hull with the first possession. Hull, good result for them last week. It was 16-all against Warrington, and Warrington showed against Saints on Wednesday that they're going to be championship contenders again this season. Oh, that was very important tackle on Tim Street early on. Panapa and Quigley and Young it was. It's a good play from Hull in these early drives. They're bringing the ball forward positively. Kicks coming in, driving Salford back. Gary Tyrer making certain that it's his. And Phil Ford with his first running chance. Elusive running, but taken down comfortably by the Hull defensive line. That was a good chase from Hull. And Critchley with his first running chance, but not very far. But still does so much to try and get away. And this Hull defence is getting up very quickly. Salford not being quite so decisive in the play as Hull. But here's good play from Salford. All of a sudden Ian Blease is out there onto Phil Ford. Great play from Salford, creating the opening over there, but not decisive enough, but still good play from Salford. A good line from Salford. Ian Blease here again. Pass on to Mike Gregory. The Hull cover up again very, very quickly. So you must be pleased with this defensive six from Hull, Steve.
Yes, pretty first on the tackle to begin the game. Nice bit of work by Salford, typically moving the ball out wide. Here's Craig O'Donnell fielding the kick. Rare chance in the first team for Craig. Played in that famous win at Wigan 2 seasons ago, scored the winning try. Hasn't had too many opportunities since then. Leroy Mackenzie, the new rugby union signing from the Midlands. A reasonable debut last week. Dixon acting half. Hewitt, Street, Tim Street breaks the 40-metre line. Short side play, John Sharp finding a bit of room out there, John. Into the Salford half. Hewitt, Nolan takes the ball himself. Last tackle, Hull 4 metres inside Salford territory. Hewitt kicks over, Gary Nolan in pursuit. That holds up nicely, Hewitt. Good tackle, but a chance for Mackenzie. Can he score? Oh, he cut back inside. He might have been better going for the outside. Great tackle by Sean Brown. Classic bit of cover play by the scrum half. Serves certain 4 points there, Steve.
Yeah, brilliant attack from Hull. Who was it who made the kick ahead in the first place, Steve?
Mark Hewitt, the scrum half, scored a try from his own kick last week, followed up by Gary Nolan, and then Leroy Mackenzie thought he had his first try for the first team there. Great work by Sean Brown, though.
Yes, it was Sean Brown, I think Phil Ford as well with the assist, and Salford having to work it clear. And like so many of these rugby league games, we've got a great game right at the very, very start. Both teams looking to do things, and here's one man in. Now a chance for Salford. Onto Paul Farber. Now here's an overlap for Salford. Somebody taking down off the ball. Goes on to Phil Ford. Comes inside. The Hull cover's there. Phil Ford still going. Unfortunately, Ford couldn't get his pass on to Critchley over this side because of the Hull cover. Hull now back in line. Great play from Salford. Naylor involved in the vital break, but there were men over. And Marston looking to keep it going. Oh, great play, and there's Blakely going, and there's Salford are going to be allowed that one right under the post. David Young following up that break from Jonathan Quigley, I think it was, and so we've seen two super attacks from both teams. Hull almost scoring at one end, and in the resultant plays it was so many men involved. Blakely was there, Brown was involved, but the key pass was that one just at the end as he was being tackled onto David Young following up to score under the post. The referee a little bit uncertain whether it was a fair pass and whether he grounded the ball properly, but in the end he looked at his touch judge and decided to award it. So certainly that break going for Salford, Steve.
Surprising play before that. Salford certainly showing a willingness to move the ball through many pairs of hands to stretch the whole defence. I think there was a suspicion over that pass. I think it was forward. It looked from where but I don't think he had any problem grounding it, but often in those sort of situations, after a long-term break, after a long break like that, that's brought to an end by the tackle on Phil Ford, teams have difficulty carrying it on, but Salford certainly didn't there, and they finished in some style. So it's a great start for Salford. 5 minutes gone. No problems for the conversion. Steve Blakely turns 4 into 6, and Salford have a 6-0 lead.
That really was exhilarating rugby. Last week Salford was so close they weren't quite able to prize openings, but today they've done it in fine style on 2 occasions, one before that try, and the try was really an end-to-end super team effort. Everybody involved from one end to the other, and 6 points on the board. Excellent start to Salford. And that after having to contain Hull, who looked as though for themselves they might have scored in the second minute. Gary Tyler looking to, and here's Salford wanting to get this ball moving all the time. Ian Blease sensibly in the end hanging on. And Hull take him down. Salford still inside the 20 though. Bob Marston working this short side, and he gets his pass away. Ian Blease looking to create an opening, has the ball free, but there's nobody to pass to in that position, hemmed in by the Hull defenders. Hull coming up quickly in defence. Paul Farber having to straighten up, but still Salford moving this ball, and David Young, he's going forward, taking the tackle. The referee not held his hand up yet. Jonathan Quigley going, gets his pass away. Now Salford still looking to move this ball. Paul Farber sees that the passing route's blocked. The Hull defenders up quickly, and this time the referee will blow his whistle, stop the clock, and already Paul Farber incensed by something. So Paul Farber feeling aggrieved there for some reason, Steve.
Yes, he's the called out. I think a little bit of confrontation with Tim Street, was it? Yes.
It's strange how some people always attract controversy, and if anybody does, what's happening now? Yellow card for Tim Street. Paul Farber and Tim Street always attracting controversy in every game. Paul Farber last week was sin-binned. Street obviously upset him, and also upset the referee. Little bit of indiscipline from Street there. Maybe the referee hasn't finalised his decision yet, but Hull down for 10 men, down to 12 men for 10 minutes. Exciting stuff.
Yes, Salford have the penalty. Street adjudged to be the first offender there. Headbutt, the referee's decision. And Salford, who already created some space to go through the Hull defence, find it a little bit easier with Hull down to 12 men. Hull offside from the penalty. So Salford have a second penalty some 32 metres out from the Hull line. Will they go for goal? No, go for touch.
Yep, and that's what Salford have to do with the one-man superiority, with a 6-point lead, with confidence must be sky high. David Young having to adjust as he took that ball, but taking it to only 10 metres from the Hull line. Hull one man short now for 9 minutes still. Salford working the short side, passing's on, but one pass too many in that very crowded space over there. But Salford nevertheless in the best part of the field territorially. So what a great start for Salford. When it looked as though Hull might have scored in those only 2 minutes, it's Salford who scored the try, and now Hull down to the 12 men. Take it over, Steve.
Leroy Mackenzie brings the ball away from the scrum. Nolan, Walker. Had a fine game last week, Russ Walker. Penalty against Marsden for not allowing Walker to his feet. So some much needed relief for Hull. Certainly after those initial few minutes when Hull put on a very strong early attack and Mackenzie almost scored, it's been all Salford. And Salford very much playing in the style that we've become accustomed to over the years. Plenty of ball movement, not afraid to move the ball across their own line and their own territory. When it comes off, it looks tremendously spectacular. Walker, almost up to the halfway line, knock on against Russ Walker, and he's flat out as well. So the scrum to go down, Russ Walker receiving attention. Salford tackling pretty strong there.
That's right, Salford knew they were so close last week and have really started this game as if they want to make amends, because with their new signings in the team so far, Sam Paniper and Mike Gregory, with Cliff Eccles on the subs bench, with the Kiwi Jason Williams, with Scott Marr still to come, Salford really hoping for good things this season. Blakely having to adjust and sees the space, and he gets on to Scott Naylor. Super tackle that was. Super tackle. And Jonathan Quigley's seen a chance. He's in that Mark Lee role today. Ian Blease so unlucky not being able to strike clear, but that defending from Hull, they're not going to let anybody go if they don't have to. Bob Marston going crossfield, all unfortunate, lost that one at the end, but Gregory following up, not quite making the tackle. And Gary Tyre is in there, but no, in the end it's left to David Young to bring down. Ooh, that was a tough tackle by Ian Blease. Ian Blease perhaps fortunate not to be penalised there, Steve.
Yes, the referee signified the shoulder. I think some of the crowd thought it was an elbow. Penalty against Salford. Certainly no lack of bite in the Salford tackle at the moment. Tackling very hard. Just going too far that time. And Hull have the penalty. 10 minutes gone. Hull trail by 6-0. Steve McNamara kicking to touch on the far side. What Hull need above all is a good set of 6 inside the Salford half to settle them down. They've been backpedaling so far in the game.
13 metres from the tackles.
Yeah. Nolan, McNamara. O'Donnell takes it midfield. Hewitt. Mark Hewitt finds a bit of space, beats a man. O'Donnell acting half. Wilson throws a dummy, beats a man. Good run, Rob Wilson. Short side, Walker crosses the 20-metre line. Nolan. Hewitt finds a bit of space. Nice ball to O'Donnell. Fullback Tyra takes him. It's the last tackle. Rob Nolan. It's the last tackle. The ball goes loose. Salford have it. Good attack by Hull.
Yep, just for once had the impression though that Salford were in control that time, although at one time certainly Hull, even with the one-man disadvantage, did create half an opening. And now Salford working it clear. Critchley trying to find an opening. The runners are there. Forbes one of them. Forbes running strongly, and he gets his pass on to Naylor. Now Brett Naylor's looking for support. He hasn't got nobody with him. Has to take the tackle, perhaps, but is quickly following it up. Gets it onto Sean Brown. He's going forward strongly on his own. And there's Naylor again involved. Salford, great passing from them. That one's going forward. The referee lets it go. Referee didn't notice that one was forward. But Salford on the 10-metre line. Phil Ford's going to have a go on his own. No, he's not. It's coming over to Brown. Naylor again. Blease is there. Marsden's there. Long pass to Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory's looking for his space. He gets onto Marsden. Marsden trying to find the pass. He gets it on again to Panaper. Salford throwing this ball around superbly. Great play from Salford. One end to the other. Now there's men for Salford over this side. Brown has got the little kick through. The chase is on, but the fullback takes it comfortably and then puts Hull in a position to bring the ball clear. Great play from Salford, but good, even better defence from Hull, Steve.
Well, certainly Salford signalling their intent. It's keep the ball moving at all costs, and today the ball's sticking, or has done most of the time, because the conditions ideal for that sort of game today. Firm surface, good warm day. Mike Dixon picking up off Steve McNamara. Good tackle by Tyra. That's two he's made in the last few minutes.
Come on, get up to them.
Nolan. Rob Danby almost up to halfway. Last tackle against Hull. Short side, Hewitt.
Move up.
Danby. So we'll have to manufacture a kick here somehow. It's the last tackle. Mackenzie. Oh, he's going to be caught in possession on the last. And that's poor play, really. Didn't get the kick in. Did need to drive Salford back. So Salford in possession again, just inside the Hull half.
Yes, I think great run from Tyra, lucky not to get clear. Positive play. I think when Naylor looks back on his break, he'll perhaps wish he'd get going more positively just to try and beat the tackle. And here's Blease running in strongly. Only a couple of minutes before Hull get back to full strength. Mike Gregory looking to draw men. Nice little inside pass, well taken, but then knocked down and lost in the end. And Salford again winning the penalty. Oh, and Naylor getting involved. Naylor needs to walk away. Disciplined. Salford have the extra man. Obviously aggrieved again, so the refereeing decision's going Salford's way. Naylor felt aggrieved, but in the end the referee's given the decision against Hull for knocking the ball out of his hand, I think, Steve.
Yes, either that or offside against Walker for picking it up. But Gary Nolan and the Salford player involved. So a little bit of spite out there. Salford have the penalty and a chance to stretch the lead to 8. Oh no, they're going for touch, going for the 6. It's very, very much a get points while you can. David Young.
Yeah, David Young, look at that, so close to line. Salford with a one-man superiority have got to go for the try, got to go for the 4 points this stage of the game. Bob Marsden's looking to go further forward, but that whole defence really standing very firm at the minute. Salford trying to find the opening. Like that, in the end, it was Jason Quigley in the Mark Lee role, looking to go right, went left, and it was Paul Forber in the space. The pass was timed to perfection, and Paul Forber stormed over to score Salford's second try. And in many ways that couldn't have come at a better time for Salford, because on the touchline Tim Street is itching to get back on the field. His 10 minutes are just about up, and so Salford have done absolutely the right thing. Look at that try again. It made it look easy. It wasn't.
Pushed out by a Hull player, perhaps. Well, maybe he did Walker for being in front of who did pick it up, for being in front for offside, but I'm not quite sure. Well, Salford have created the position from which the danger came. Well, that's a fine conversion by Blakely. Takes Salford to 12-0. And certainly Hull struggling. Tim Street is back on the field. Well, Coach Gary Jack expressed his displeasure at the Salford performance at Wakefield last week. He certainly seems to have had his effect on the side because they're playing with a lot of confidence here.
That's right, the defence was okay. It's just last week we couldn't quite make the openings, and today they scored 2 tries from excellent rugby and excellent openings, and might in fact have had a couple more from the opportunities that have been created. Gary's looking, Gary Tyler there, looking for a space. He stepped into Gary Jack's roles very impressively. Salford 12-0 in the lead as we just come up. Oh, look at David Young, so difficult to put down, still standing on his feet and making another 10 metres. The fans love that sort of performance and effort from prop forwards. Paul Forber doing well to collect that one. So unlucky then for Salford that he couldn't quite get in the clear, but the defence from Hull made sure that he didn't. Steve Blakely, one of his mazy little runs, and he's clear, and he's got many support. Oh, there's Quigley going, answered by Gregory, but a super rugby yet again from Salford. Super rugby, but great defence from Hull, and Salford going for the kick. Sean Brown's on the chase, but the ball's going to go dead, and that move comes to an end. But more great rugby from Salford. Hull now back to full strength, but super incisive rugby that was missing from Salford's attack this week is there in abundance in this first 20 minutes, and it was Steve Blakely that time who created the opening that we're seeing so often from him in these last few matches last season and this. It's been a great 20 minutes though, Steve, hasn't it?
Very entertaining, and as you say, Salford halfback reveling in the space Hull gave him near the ruck there. The thing I like about the Salford players that there's a lot of good options taken on the short side. They move the ball across the field very well, but they also exploit the short side, and that keeps the defence very much guessing as to which way they're going to go. Been very impressed by scrum half Brown's organising of the side so far. Andy Gregory's on the bench, no doubt his place is very much up for grabs, but I've been impressed by the way he's calmly and efficiently organised the Salford side. Street.
Well tackled.
Cliff Eccles is on for David Young.
Cliff Eccles on for Young for Salford.
Debut.
And debut for this ex-Rochdale player. Mark Hewitt finds touch on the Salford 20-metre line, and Hull needed a good solid set of 6 there to get them back into Salford territory. So Salford to feed this scrum on the 20-metre line. And Salford forwards playing a lot of enthusiasm. Paul Forber often has caused Hull problems in the past and is doing so again today.
Yes, as David Young presumably had an injury. He's certainly been playing very, very well. Yes, he's receiving attention on the bench, but it's good to see Cliff Eccles getting his chance so early in the game. And Sam Panaper, the crowd love him, don't they? But the whole defence making sure he didn't get clear. Ian Blease looking to find an opening. Salford regrouping. Blakely onto Forber. Forber losing the ball, and the referee is deciding that, again, another refereeing decision going Salford's way. Is that a fair one, Steve?
Well, the question of what dislodged the ball from Forber's grab. Did he lose it himself, or was it a whole hand in there? The referee has no doubts. And he's a lot closer than we are.
Yes, and a little bit of slow hand clapping from the whole fans. They're not liking these decisions going Salford's way, but the referee only applies the rules. It was the whole player, he said, who knocked the ball out of Salford's hand. And Salford trying to work a variation there from the tap, and that's what will make a successful team. Variation. Jonathan Quigley in that Mark Lee role today. There, all the acting half-backs. Nice little run, not quite decisive, but it puts Hull back defensively. Quigley's running, looking for somebody to pass to, and it's Naylor who's there. Naylor holds on, and then gets his pass away. Oh, nice little dummy from Cliff Eccles, but the tackles are made by Hull very decisively, bringing him down. How can Oh, that's a good play from Blakely, straight through from nothing, and he's going all the way. Absolutely brilliant solo opportunist try. That is rugby league at his best. That is a young man with enormous confidence, enormous ability. He saw an opening that nobody else saw. He got the pace to go through it, and when he came to the fullback, he went round O'Donnell far out and came back to put the ball down under the post. That's Blakely at his absolute best. Brilliant try.
What's happening is that Salford are exerting so much pressure here, and they've had the benefit of the penalties as well, that Hull are playing so much of the game inside their own 20-metre area, and they're not really set in defence. So Blakely with another conversion to give Salford an 18-0 lead. No problems at all for him, converts his own try, he's having a fine game, 18-0. And Salford will have possession from the scrummage. But standoff Blakely was signed from Wigan, was it last year or the season before, for the outstanding game so far.
Yes, growing in stature, Steve Blakely, realising the potential that that everybody here has seen, and Gary Tyrer at fullback playing well. Naylor's passed to Panapa. Panapa doing well to take it. And Hull tattlers keeping him down well. Bobby Marsden and Panapa having to hold on. No way through that time on the short side. The Hull defenders now coming up strongly. Blakely having to hold on. He loses one man again. It's his pass on to Mike Gregory. Wasn't forward. And Salford looking to create openings at every opportunity. Forber's there. Nice little pass on. Great pass on to Naylor. Inside to Tyra there on the last tackle. More exciting rugby from Salford. And all of a sudden, Hull are on the way, wanting to take that one quickly, and Salford penalised for offside. So more good rugby from Salford, but Hull had the measure of that attack that time, Steve.
Yeah, Salford get the ball wide from the ruck very quickly, and then they're not afraid to use long cut-out passes in the centres to stretch the defence. They also support well on the inside. So far, a very good, strong attacking game from Salford. Can Hull put points on the board before half-time? This is Craven on debut. Good run by the former Rydale York player. Nolan inside to John Sharp. John Sharp tackled about 12 metres out. Dixon, McNamara, switch of play. Rob Nolan, smirk. Rob Nolan takes the ball on himself. About 3 or 4 metres away, plays the ball to himself and gets over. No try, lost it. Over the line, it certainly isn't running Hull's way at all. Salford back in possession.
Yes, and perhaps that sums up Hull's afternoon so far. Nothing's quite gone right for them because it was a clear try-scoring opportunity, but it seemed very clear to the referee, who was right in front of the try-scorer, that the ball had been dropped before it was grounded properly, and a let-off for Salford. Because a try at that point to Hull really could have lifted their spirits and brought them back into it, but Salford still have that 18-point lead. And all the players on the Salford team all seem to be working well together. And again, Hull penalised. And there you are, that was the reason for the penalty. Was it an arm in the tackle? And Gary Tyrer. No, it's Cliff Eccles. Cliff Eccles going off. He's had a good 10 minutes. David Young coming back on. It was a blood bin, was it, Steve?
They held up the Red Cross.
Right. So that was the reason for David Young leaving the field. Jonathan Quigley not quite sure where that had gone into touch from. Taking the tap from where the referee told him to. Quigley following this game well, always up in the right place to take the acting half-back position, and David Young on quickly, shrugging off the cut. Playing very well, David Young. Ian Blease striving to find that opening. Marsden straightening up and going through like an express train for 10 metres. Gets his pass away, goes backwards, will say the referee. Paul Forber makes it his, and the referee this time gives a knock on, although that time it, I think, went backwards, but one decision going Hull's way at last, perhaps you'll say, Steve.
No, I'm not sure that was a knock on. His body was turned the other way. Anyway, a little bit of breathing space here as Terry Smirk receives attention for Hull. They really have been swept aside in this first half by a very lively Salford side. The Salford halfbacks having no problem finding plenty of eager runners today. There are plenty of decoy runners in there that's helping Salford to vary their game, vary the point of attack and create problems for the Hull defence. I've been very impressed with the way they've organised their attack, and there's a lot of spontaneity as well as the organisation, so it's a pretty good combination. From the scrum, Salford in, Hull in possession. Terry Smirk works the ball up to halfway. Mackenzie at acting halfback. He'll have a run from there. Gets inside the Salford half. Street takes a good flat ball. Good tackle on Street though by David Young. Nolan. Inside to John Sharp. Working play up to the 30-metre line. Nolan. Looking for the inside ball. Well, the ball goes loose. And touch judge says that the Nolan released the balls and picked up by Salford. So Salford in possession again.
Yeah, more good play from Salford, containing that Hull attack and forcing the error. And Phil Ford, like you say, Steve, all these Salford players want this ball today. And they will know that they can never feel comfortable in any rugby league game. 18-0 is a fairly healthy lead, but there's a long way to go, and a Hull fair team. As we're seeing now that the tackling effort from Hull just gone up a little notch, and in this series of 6, Salford have barely made 10 metres. Now the Hull fans definitely decided that was forward. Now what's that decision? Tell me, was it for the forward pass, Steve? What's he doing? What was that for?
Was he given that for couldn't we? Yeah, on the 6th tackle. Yes, it's a turnover. That's right. Went out on the full on the 6th tackle. Yep. Didn't go on the full. Well, that's what he's given, I think, because he's given a turnover there. Yeah. All right. Well, the referee's certainly a bit late if he was going for the forward pass. Anyway, Hull with a chance. Nolan. Oh, O'Donnell loses it under pressure from Panapa, picked up by Gary Nolan. Good bit of work by Panapa. O'Donnell from acting half. Doesn't release the ball to Smirk. Nolan. Rob Danby to Brandon Greenwood. Well, Hull not creating the space that Salford have got. Salford onto 12 at the moment. Quigley gone to the blood bin. A high kick from Rob Nolan. It's a swirler for Ford. He lets it go and it goes dead. Bit dangerous by Phil Ford. Thinks it's his day. It's not going to bounce the wrong way.
Well, he's quite right about that. So Cliff Eccles coming back on as Jason Critchley goes a long way round in from the right wing. And having to take the tackles over there, Jonathan Quigley received a cut, receiving a treatment, and Cliff Eccles on in his place at the moment. Salford, keep it going. Salford look working this ball clear. That was Eccles with the previous run. David Young, not sure whether he's been effectively grounded or not. Ian Blease looking to get his body clear so he can pass if he can. Salford just without Quigley at that half-back position. Oh, well left. Oh, and a great play now, Gary Tyler. Lovely pass from Tyler. Scott Naylor's looking for support. Oh, so unlucky there. Oh. Steve Blakely fell just at the last moment, but more decisive rugby from Salford, and the drop goal attempt. He's hovering in the air, and the 1 point. Well, it's always worth the 1 point, and another superb attack from Salford. Didn't bring the try that it deserved, perhaps in terms of the quality of the incisiveness of the play of the rugby, but in the end it was an important goal. Nonetheless, one more drop goal to Sean Brown. 36 minutes gone, 19-0 for Salford. It's more good rugby, wasn't it, Steve?
Yes, it was, and it was the virtue of moving the ball quickly wide. Salford have found an enormous amount of room on Hull's right out there. It was Critchley, I think, who made the initial surging run that time, wasn't it? Who linked up from behind the first line of attack.
Well, like you say, there's just so many of these Salford players wanting this ball that they're going forward in droves. And that ball was well taken with the sun in his eyes. Sean Brown having a good game. And Gary Tyra having a good game. He's been very prominent in his attacking role. And there's a good run as well. Cliff Eccles going so well, pushing men off and making Hull 15 or so metres. Ian Blease. Oh, Critchley, not quite sure whether that was for him or for Sam Panapa. And for the first time, a rare mistake from Salford.
Yes, we haven't seen many handling errors from them. That was one. It gives Hull a chance to come on the attack. John Sharp takes it up to the 30-metre line. Russ Walker. Smirk. Nolan. Smirk on the runaround. Back to O'Donnell. But Hull not moving the Salford defence around in the same way that Salford are doing to Hull's defence. Smirk kicks through behind the defence. And it's picked up by Salford player Tyra on his own line. Covers the ball well. Critchley from acting halfback now. Panapa brings the ball almost up to the 20-metre line. I make it we're just about a minute, 2 minutes from the interval.
Yes, a minute plus injury time. There was a little bit early on. And Salford working the ball clear steadily. Paul Forbert always looking to release if he can, but when he can't, sensibly holding on to it. Brown, the kicker, having to be quick, and he is quick. That's a good high ball. Having to run a long way to full back. Naylor knows he's offside and the ball's going to go into touch. And what a good kick that was, Sean Brown. Sean Brown really at the centre of so many things in that scrum half role. Maybe Andy Gregory's been giving him a few tips. What do you reckon?
Well, he's certainly playing like a player who's got somebody looking over his shoulder. He is playing very well. I think actually he was looking for a bit more distance on that kick. There was a bit of Hull pressure on it. Went further up in the air than he might have liked. John Sharp has worked pretty hard in the Hull defence. Brings it back almost to halfway. Craven hits the flat ball. Takes a big hit, but a pretty mobile this signing from Rydale York. Rob Nolan to Gary Nolan. Salford defence standing up to this. Mackenzie from acting half. Steps. Makes another 10. Hull making the ground pretty well, but not really threatening to break. Street. Last tackle on the 20-metre line. Rob Nolan goes to the air. Crossfield kick. Panapa takes it well. Tackled by Rob Danby.
And yet again a bounce going Salford's way, so it's been a good first half for Salford. Well, you make your own luck, and Salford have certainly done that in this first half, and as long as they don't go to sleep in the second half, well, we could be onto something good today. So far 19-0, we're into injury time, and another score if Salford could do that at this time really would put the icing on an excellent first half cake for them. If there was disappointment last week, then in this first 40 minutes, disappointment from last week's game, in this first 40 minutes, they certainly have shown their commitment and ability unquestionably. And Steve Blakely with a little kick through again, and if that's his, which it is, oh, I'm so unlucky not to get that rebound, but that was good play by the fullback, very alert to that situation and throwing himself at it to prevent Blakely going through.
Put his body on the line, O'Donnell. Nice bit of work though by Blakely. He's run strongly from those positions. The chip over the top, good variety, almost came off for him. Russ Walker. He too has worked very hard in the whole pack. A few words with Thorber, points finger at him. Gary Nolan. Tackle still short of halfway. I think Blakely has also worked pretty well in defence as well. There's been a lot of tackles around the ruck on the Hull forwards. Last tackle, Hull 10 metres inside Salford territory. Greenwood from acting half, but again Hull wasting an opportunity. Nothing really on there. Kick needed on the last tackle. Greenwood falling to the tackle. Panapa knocks on. Salford making a few errors now, but Hull don't really look capable of breaking the defence at the moment.
Yes, I think ironically there was a clear overlap for Salford. It might have been the short side and it might have been something like 60 metres from the line, but that's where the chances come from. Now the touch judge is on. What's the touch judge talking about? Who's he picking out? Nobody. Hull in possession.
Danby. Tackled by Panapa. Hull to the right with Street. Bumps off a tackle. Moves again. O'Donnell acting half. Goes from there, no real runners. All pretty disorganised at times. Walker runs off himself. Well, again into a good position, but can Hull put anything on to break the defence? They do need a try before the interval. Rob Nolan to Danby, who loses it under the attention of 3 Salford defenders. Can't really blame him for not taking that. And we're well into injury time here. Just can't remember very much time. Naylor runs it out for Salford.
Yes, 43 minutes in this first half, and Salford having contained another Hull attack in an important time. The play brings the first half to the close, to the delight of the Salford fans, certainly putting behind them disappointment from last week. The tries came from David Young in the first 5 minutes on 16 minutes. Paul Forber went over, and then Blakely scored his solo effort on 23 minutes, and the Salford fans love it.
Make it easy to include the Kiwis from the start when they arrive.
John Sharp.
19-0. Some changes on the Hull side. Brian, just run through them for us.
Yeah, loose forward John Sharp's off and Rob Wilson's back on. I imagine Steve McNamara will move back to loose forward. Certainly, he took Rob Wilson off quite early in the game. I suppose if the coach thought he had to make a change because Hull will lose, I didn't think Wilson was particularly any worse than anybody else, to be honest, Steve.
And it looks as though they changed to the Salford side. Mike Gregory has gone off, and that means presumably Cliff Eccles will be on. We've still not seen Andy Gregory. Let me just look around. No, Andy Gregory still on the bench. And Sean Brown making that his. And Cliff Eccles, Gary Tyra losing that one in the very first play, and so the first initiative very much with Hull.
Rob Wilson back on. It's a good 10 yards. Very Hull got to score quickly, make a game of it. Rob Nolan, Street. Good tackle by Panapa. Go back to Terry Smake, to Nolan. McNamara. Drops off. Gary Nolan looking to straighten up. Finds Bob Marsden. Street again. Threatens to drop off Steve Craven, doesn't. Hull going left. Long ball to Brendan Greenwood. Brendan Greenwood gets rid of it, but it's thrown into touch. Good last ditch defending by Salford.
Yeah, it wasn't so much last ditch, it was if they were waiting for Hull to come to them and then handled them very competently that time. It never looked as though Hull had got the better of that particular attack. although no doubt that will change during the game, and Critchley trying to force himself clear. But Hull having the better of these early minutes of the second half. There's good strong running from Gary Tyrer. He's having a super game to my eyes so far. There are so many of these Salford players this afternoon. Paul Forber. Oh, so prominent out there. Now Naylor was held back. Forber's looking for support. He goes on his own and gets his pass on to Phil Ford. And Phil Ford taken down. Stands up again though. Naylor was in the line to take the pass, but the whole man put him down. Great play from Salford. Paul Forber making a lot of ground and a good chance for Salford over the other time. Men over. Forward pass. Sam Paniper taking one. Good tackle from Hull. Greenwood coming in from the wing to put Paniper down. Salford getting away with a forward pass there. Sean Brown coming ahead with a little kick on, and it comes back, and that man is unquestionably offside. And the second half carrying on where we were in the first half, with Salford looking the more decisive, incisive team, and the run of the ball going for him, Brian.
Yeah, it's quite right there, Steve. The second run of the ball did go for him. That was a great break though by Paul Forber. Shrugged off Steve Craven's tackle and made another 50 yards.
So Salford, safety first, going for the points with every opportunity, and you really can't blame them. 2 big points, so important to all teams in the first division, and Salford thinking that 2 more points on the scoreboard today will help them in that cause. And look who the Sandman is. Andy Gregory, not been used yet. Certainly Cliff Eccles is playing his part in this team effort from Salford today, as Blakely steadies himself for this kick. Wind's gusting out there, so not the easiest of penalties. But to Steve Blakely, they're all the same. Another 2 points, 21-0 to Salford. And how is that now? 21-0. I just have to work out. I think that's 4 goals. 4 goals today for Steve Blakely. Now the touch judge is in, stopping the clock. He's in for having seen something. Now what's this all about, Brian?
Absolutely no idea, Steve. No idea. The touch judge on this side presumably spotted something. I don't think it's going to make any difference to the decision.
Well, if it's the incident that we saw in the Paul Forber break, I can quite clearly recollect that a Hull player was holding him back, but that's nothing more than we see every play anyway. So perhaps it was Naylor who was expressing his dislike with it now. Sean Brown making sure that the ball's his, and then looking for somebody to pass it on to, and Ian Blease is there, and Salford in possession again. 4 minutes into the second half, 21-0 to Salford. 3 tries, 4 goals to Blakely. Blakely 7 goals so far this year. Jonathan Quigley not able to get away, and Salford still on their own 10 metre from the try line. Cliff Eccles shouting for that ball, but David Young having none of it, saying this has got to be mine in this position. And Bos Barston probing for an opening, and always looking as though he might find it, and the whole defence in this 6 has been very good. Salford unable to make more ground than a few metres outside the 20-metre line before Blakely goes for the kick. Bidfield, and it's going to be Hull possession.
Brendan Greenwood picks it up. Beat the first tackle, but didn't beat Forber. McKenzie. It's a few yards. Dixon from acting halfback. Dixon. Another few yards from Hull. Steve Craven. 4 tackles gone. McNamara loses the ball.
Sean Brown. And immediately Salford spring into life. Gary Tyrer wanting that ball all the time at full back to show what he can do on attack. He's quickly making that full spotty zone, the one that vacated by Gary Jack. Scott Nail is trying to go on his own. He gets his pass on to Panapa. Panapa's going, unable to release the ball to Creechley. What a shame. But nevertheless, Salford again providing the attacking flair. And Cliff Eccles looking to keep that ball available if he could get his pass away. David Young in the line, changing direction, making a few more yards. Salford almost on the halfway line. And Blakely's seen that elusive opening again and going again. But that time, the whole defence alert to the danger from that man. The Salford switch goes behind Brown. They're all watching, and Hull and Salford get it back. Fidget, fortunately, but the knock-on obviously going to be given against them that time. And Salford just perhaps finding it a bit too easy that time. I've never ever said that before, Brian.
Blakey had yards and yards to go. So the opportunity. Street. Danby. Nolan. To brother Gary Nolan. Trying to straighten up, looking for a gap. Doesn't find one. Pulled down by Young and Eccles. Touch to John.
Yep, he was kicking out either accidentally or not when he was trying to get up to play the ball. It was impeded anyway. So who was the Hull player there, Brian?
Gary Nolan. It's Gary Nolan.
Gary Nolan. I think it's Cliff Eccles who's on the floor. Well, we see legs all over the show in these play the balls. Do you think that was accidental, Steve?
Well, only Gary Nolan will know that, I think. But it's a penalty to Salford that Hull could ill afford, certainly.
Yeah, Cliff Eccles seems to have shrugged it off, thankfully. And Steve Blakely with a tremendous kick, and Salford again on attack now. Can Salford really turn on the screw? Can they really do what they've been threatening for several games last season that didn't quite materialise, and that is put together a big win? They won't if they just have little slackness like that. And that sort of incident makes you remember just how skillful the players are to be in the right position for every single pass. Panapa looking for the opening that time, holds on to it, gets his pass away, but that one's going to go into touch.
Straightens up, but right into two Salford tacklers. Smirk. Rob Nolan, Gary Nolan. To Russ Walker. Certainly Gary Nolan didn't pass the ball there, released it. McNamara. Tackled by Blaze. Smirk. Straight. Right up the middle. Straight.
Legs.
Straight, still going. Needed somebody short on his left, nobody there. Nice break by Straight. Hull far too shallow. Rob Nolan. Oh, it's a kick to nothing really there. Poor kick by Rob Nolan.
Didn't bounce.
It was interesting in that when Tim Street was in possession there, in fact it was left to Sean Brown, one of the smallest men on the Salford side, to actually bring him down by doing the right thing, getting him round the legs. Because he's quite an awesome sight, Tim Street in full flight. As indeed is David Young. Always makes good ground. Highly respected by the Salford fans, David Young. The whole defensive line moving up better. Quigley this time wanted to go on his own, but can't find a way through. So Sean Brown will take it up, and he's looking to probe and run. Does he look good when he runs? Nice play. Scott Naylor's there, and he gets his pass on to Phil Ford. Phil Ford's going to streak for the line. Which way are you going? He's going inside. He still gets clear. He's running. Who can he pass to? He passes to Paul Forber. Forber to Blakely, and full credit to that whole defence on that occasion for stopping what looked as though it was going to be another Salford try, but Salford still with men over that side. Gets it out there to Sam Panapa, and Sam Panapa at the end of a move that was surely going to bring a try, drops the ball. So he'll regret that. He'll be looking for his first try for Salford. Good defence from Hull for what was another excellent Salford attack, Brian.
Yeah, and to me the best bit of the attack was a quick short quick ball by Forber. Will put Scott Naylor again down this left.
Yeah.
Steve Craven, good run by Craven. Straight.
Legs. Good tackle.
Gets rid. Goes to Steve Craven again. Still going. Worked harder this second half as Tim Strait. It'll be McNamara takes it up this time. Smirk. Chips. It's on Critchley's wing. Tackled by Smirk.
Just looked for a minute as though that kick was going to fool Critchley a little bit. He thought he was going to get it on the full. Whew. Was that John Sharp up very quickly then? Oh, sorry. Same ball head, these guys say. And now Hull's tackling has just gone up a little notch here, and Salford's struggling to get clear. David Young stays on his feet. Sean Brown gets his pass away. Here's a chance for Salford. Forber there again, this time going back inside, looking for many support. Marston's there first of all. The ball goes down, touching everybody, and the referee is going to award the knock-on for the first offence. And Salford still looking to go, when in actual fact he's given the knock-on against Hull, and Salford are going to continue in possession. And Salford looking to play rugby with every opportunity and doing it so well in this game so far. 13 minutes into the second half, 21-0 to Salford. Hull certainly playing much better on defence in this second half. Blakely coming round and straightens up. Can he go again? Not quite that time, but Steve Blakely, such a favourite with the Salford fans for those darting little runs which so often have produced tries in their own right. Cliff Eccles settling into this Salford team. He played on Friday night. You wouldn't think so, would you? He played for the A team, I think.
Come on, get with him. Help him.
Marston going forward. Now can Salford put some more points on this board? Paul Forber onto Panapa. Panapa straightens up, but well taken down, and we're on to the fourth one. And Sean Brown looking to go on his own. Dummy to David Young. Difficult ball, well taken by Ian Blease. Onto Cliff Eccles, and Cliff Eccles nearly, he was trying to get clear, so unlucky. But good defence to Hull, hanging on by his shirt flap. Good line from Salford, little kick through, and again comes back Salford's way. Another lucky bounce, it's back to 6 for Salford, and the bounce going very much in Salford's way in this game. Has on that occasion. Now Salford only 10 metres from the line, 6 tackles, surely must make it count after all this pressure. Ian Blease trying to go, has to hang on to it. Can Salford find that important opening for another try? Good long pass. Blakely out to Panapa. Panapa steps inside, can't get away, but Tyre is there. Tyre then goes on his own, straightens up nice, fast to Forber. Forber wants to try, he's going on his own. He's so close. Determined defence from Hull had to be against that positive running from Salford from Forber. Sean Brown quickly taken down by Hull, defending extremely well at this stage of the game. Blakely running, long pass to Critchley. Critchley not scored a try yet this year, gets his pass on, but it goes behind. And who's there mopping up and clear? Cliff Eccles still playing on, and that's the 5th one. That tackle looked a little bit, yeah, he missed, thank you Brian. Unfortunately he missed. Little kick through, who's it going to this time? It's going back to Hull, and a great period of defence from Hull, because Salford really were pressurising them. Great defence though, Brian, from Hull.
Yeah, tackled well then, after Salford got the extra 6. Dixon. McNamara. Nolan to Mackenzie. Craven, good run by Craven. Showed a bit of pace there. McNamara again, working hard, Steve. Straight, Smack trying to find a gap. Still going. Rob Nolan, Gary Nolan. Oh! Oh, Hull were lucky then, because Gary Nolan passed to where he thought Mackenzie was, and he wasn't. And Steve Blakey, fortunately for Hull, knocked it on.
And Blakely a bit upset with himself there, because if he picked that one up with his pace, he'd have been away and scored. Not to worry. Blakely's already scored a very, very valuable try this afternoon, a great opportunist try. What change on the Hull side?
John Sharp coming on.
John Sharp coming back on for Russ Walker. But it's going to be Hull with possession, I would think, from this scrum, Brian.
Yeah, you'd expect Hull second ball. See, Steve McNamara's moved into the front row. Smack feeds. Rob Nolan trying to straighten up and go. Well wrapped up by Blakely and Blaze. Sharp. McNamara. Nice ball out to Dixon. To Street.
Come on, get his legs.
Dixon. Craig O'Donnell, wrapped up by Fober. Better movement there by Hull. Going left. Rob Nolan. McNamara again. Long ball to Danby.
Good tackle.
I was wrapped up. Couldn't get the ball out to Greenwood, who'd overran him there. Rob Nolan drops off John Sharp.
Come on, keep
Stop,
him out,
5 yard last tackle. Rob Nolan. Chips. Yes, try. A bit of a sloppy try there, really, because David Young should really made the ball dead there. I think he was caught in two mans there when he stayed whether to let the ball run dead or touch the ball down.
Yeah, he and Gary Tyrer were both thinking it was going to run dead. But who was the Hull player?
Rob Nolan.
Rob Nolan was sharp enough to follow it up and dive on it right in front of the referee. They can play better than they have done this afternoon. And you never know, another try. We've got a cracking last quarter of the game.
Yeah, I think Salford, it's difficult when you're winning 21-0. Salford have certainly gone off the boil the last 10 minutes. They've made a couple of handling errors that they didn't in the first half. And Hull were just a little bit more incisive, and it was a well-judged kick there by Rob Nolan, followed his own kick up. It's a touchdown, so it's Terry Smirk in the absence of Mark Hewitt trying to add the 2 points. Don't know the nature of Hewitt's injury. Smirk kicks, looks good, it is good. So with some 20 minutes left, it's Salford 21, Hull 6. And Salford bringing Panaper off. Andy Gregory going on, and the crowd don't altogether like that, Steve.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Why not? I can only hear cheers for both of the players. Isn't it great when Panaper can come off and Gregory can come on? Brilliant. Now the question is, where's he going to play, though? Oh, yes, that's right, Blakely. Thank you. I'm supposed to know what the Salford team are going to do. Yeah, Blakely will go out into the centres, and Andy Gregory will go to scrum half, and Sean Brown to stand off, and we'll see whether this change, we'll see Andy Gregory see if he can create a few more opportunities for Salford. 21-6.
John Sharp running the ball out. I'm sure with the last 20 minutes and no defence tiring, Andy Gregory could come good. But having said that, I think Hull will be glad to see Blakely away from the 6th position, because he looked very good in the middle. That little bit further out in the centre, he may not get so much ball. Steve McNamara taking it up. Tackled by David Young. Street.
Come on, take his legs.
Street still going. Oh, nice ball. Oh, not sure if Rob Wilson won't tackle without the ball there. But
On,
Salford's ball. Tara.
Yeah, Salford, perhaps, as you say, maybe difficult to keep going when you're 21-0 up. It's only 21-6 now, but the arrival of Blakely may well just find more space out there when he gets the ball. Andy Gregory hopefully is going to perk them back up again and get them into the top gear that we saw in the first half. Cliff Eccles, a willing runner from that position, but look at that Hull defence. I think Hull have just got a little sniff that they might be able to get back into this game, Brian.
Well, I think maybe they've had a telling off at half-time, Stephen, as well as entitled to have. And Oh, good tackle there by Steve Craven on Andy Gregory. I don't think Andy really wanted to run there, he wanted to pass, but everybody had overrun him.
Yes. Nice little break onto Eccles. It's the 5th one, and certainly not Salford in this period of play, not quite so decisive as they have been. Angry Gregory sending a nice little dummy, now he wants to run, and he's passed on to Brown, but knocked down by a whole hand, and Andy Gregory there, for all the world, looking as though he was going to kick and kick and kick and didn't. And a good hand from the whole point of view.
Yeah, well, it's under 6 tackles for Salford. It stopped the immediate danger, but I don't know. I see Steve McNamara putting his boot on. So it's Andy Gregory to feed.
Oh, and he doesn't know where it is, and that's one against the head. And the referee saying that one went right through. I don't think Andy Gregory really knew where that ball had gone then. It's a long time perhaps since he's put the ball in a scrum. Oh, seemed surprised to get that one as well. Naylor looking to straighten up, trying to push his way through, but strong man Scott Naylor, settling nicely into this Salford team. And Blakely, no way for him through that time. 21-6, Salford in the lead. Gregory's in the line for David Young. Tries to shrug off his tacklers, but stays on his feet. But the referee counts held, and Salford not quite as crisp and decisive now. Paul Thorber, he'll show him how to do it. Gets his pass away. David Young on his knees to take it, and still gets it onto Jonathan Quigley. All a little bit tight at that moment. Salford looking to make some space. That's where the space is by Andy Gregory. A long pass out. Nice pass. And unfortunately, one goes to ground. And if Hull can get themselves together quickly, here's a real chance for them to break down the left.
It's Wilson. Oh, gets a good ball out to Danby. Lovely tackle by Andy Gregory. Just checks Danby. Blakey gives a penalty away, holding down. Probably thought it was worth it. So it's Hull back on the attack. Dixon to Street. Nolan to Craven. Good surging run by Craven. Nolan, John Sharp. Tackled by Sean Brown. Mike Dixon back to halfback. Mike Dixon, good. Mike Dixon. Stopped 2 yards short. Couldn't get the ball out to Mackenzie. Hull swing the ball to the left. Nolan. Smack. Nolan. To Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan into a gap. Gary Nolan. Still going. Hull go left here, I think, to stack the blind side. It's Rob Nolan. Oh, but it's over. It's Greenwood. Yes, I lost it. And he was over the line. Brendan Greenwood, it seemed easy to score there, to lose the ball. That's 2 occasions Hull have lost the ball over the line. A costly miss.
Yes, I think we might have seen other referees giving that try. If he'd scored that at the Boulevard, he'd have given it. One of those marginal decisions that, again, is going Salford's way today. And I think that could be quite a turning point, because Hull over the last few minutes have started to come back into it, and Salford not playing quite so well for whatever reasons. Certainly they had a stunning first half performance, and maybe it's a bit of fatigue. And again, Ian Blease perhaps fortunate not to be penalised in that situation. But Paul Thorber bringing the applause from the fans. And Gregory taking one quickly, but getting his pass away very quickly. And Ian Blease sensibly not passing on there. The whole defensive line was up very, very quickly. And the Hull not letting Salford play now at all. Jonathan Quigley's looking for somebody to pass to. Oh, and he goes through on his own. Great play from him. He's got Phil Ford here. And he passes on to Ford. And Phil Ford is going to score for Salford. That's just what they needed. Going to take it near to the post. And that is one magnificent break by Jonathan Quigley. He's moved away from the scrum half position so many times and made no ground at all. But on that occasion, he whipped up the ball to the opponents, saw an opportunity and forced his way through it. Did you enjoy? I enjoyed that one, Steve. That was a cracking try. And Phil Ford up in support, even catching him up, giving him 20 metres start, as it were, and his own man, he caught him. And he still had it all to do in the corner. It just looked as though he might have been caught for a minute. And there's Steve Blakely, unbelievable goal kicking. His 8th of the season, his 5th this afternoon. And I'm wanting to say something that can only put the kibosh on things. 100% this season for Steve Blakely. 8 out of 8 this season. Great goal kicking.
I think he's looked a very accomplished player all round today, both in attack and defence. He's been a lot of defending as well, and he's kicking in open play and place kicking has been very good. Very fine performance.
Well, that's very nice of you to say so, Steve. Obviously a rugby league man. And we've not seen anything of Critchley yet this season, either last week or this week. We've still got him to burst into life, given the right openings and opportunities. And we've not seen much of Sam Paniper in attack yet. But what we have seen are the other Salford players impressing. Paul Forber in the pack, certainly being prominent. 27-6 in Salford's favour. We've got 12 minutes to go. Andy Gregory wanted that one. He's still running. He's trying to find his way through. Isn't that amazing? Oh, but just drops his pass at the vital time. Having done all the hard work, it looked so easy to pass on to Phil Ford, who got in the right position. It wasn't quite to be.
Yeah, a bit of magic there from Andy Gregory. Twice he appears he's going to be tackled, but he wasn't. Hull getting well pushed at the scrum, still getting it. Rob Nolan takes on Sean Brown, beats him. Nolan going, Nolan, Mackenzie. That's a good try by Hull. Craig O'Donnell inside ball from Mackenzie to O'Donnell under the post. Nice break there by Rob Nolan, Steve. This time, of course, not by Blakely, but by Sean Brown. Beat him on his left there quite easily.
Yep, and all of a sudden there was a lot of space. Good try for you.
Yep, good combination. Hull's best combination work of the whole match, I think. And young Mackenzie kept his head well there, because perhaps he was guilty in the first few minutes of the game of coming back inside and missing a chance on the outside, but did well there. Nice quick ball to Craig O'Donnell, supporting to score. 27-10, and a pretty easy kick for Terry Smirk.
Last few minutes of the game then.
10 minutes, it's a long time.
I'm corrected, it's 10. It's Terry Smirk. Kicks it. Salford 27, Hull 12. Certainly Hull give them some respectability to the score. And to be fair to them, they played better in this second half. More commitment, more organisation. But Salford all round have played a better football. We've picked out Blakely, but I'll pick out Paul Forber, running wide round about third man. Hull have never controlled him. He's always the ability to take the tackle and get rid of the ball. And Paul Forber's one of these players who usually takes the right option, gives it to the right person. So it's Blakely kicks off. John Sharp lets it go to O'Donnell. Supported well did Craig O'Donnell for his try. I think he's quite well at full back. John Sharp runs at Andy Gregory. Rob Nolan. Craven loses the ball. Looked at. Not a bad pass. He should have taken that one, Steve Craven.
Yes. And again, with still 8 minutes to go in this game, Hull. Well, there's quite a lot to do if they're going to get into it. But here's a good push from Hull. They're almost going to get that one against their head, and Andy Gregory struggling to get the ball out, almost from the second row, but does so and holds onto it. And Tim Street wanted that one, didn't he? But he didn't get it. Naylor taking that very comfortably. Looking to be looking to be jogging and then suddenly increasing in pace. Cliff Eccles out there. No, it's Gary Tyra. David Young dropping that one, and Salford just getting perhaps a little bit complacent. Who knows?
Oh, very casual. Tim Street taking it up the middle to Dixon. Dixon accelerates. But Salford read it well. Blakely again into the tackle. Rob Wilson at the blind side. Well, good play by Rob Wilson. Straight in. Rob Wilson going for it. Side set. Wilson still going. Ran away from his support, but a good run by Rob Wilson. Greenwood. Greenwood will go. Greenwood, does he score? Referee points, yeah, he's over. Good try by Brendan Greenwood. Guilty a couple of minutes ago, bombing a much easier chance, but a good try by Greenwood and an excellent break by Rob Wilson there.
And Salford penalised for a little bit being a little bit casual, and where it's all of a sudden it's going right for Hull. The fans from Hull are making the noise, and Salford look as though they could be in trouble. 27-16 sounds comfortable, but 7 minutes to go and Hull really coming back into it.
Gradually a bit of confidence crept into their attacking game. Salford, I think, have fallen off a bit in defence as well. And Terry Smirk, 2 successes. Can he make it 3? This is by far the most difficult kick he's had. No, never a chance that. 27-16.
Come on, Salford.
Mike Gregory on for Marsden.
Change on the Salford side. Bob Marsden receiving a great ovation as he goes off, and Mike Gregory comes back on. And Salford just need to return to that little bit of steel that we saw in the first half. Hull with the tails up, Ryan.
Yeah, and all supporters getting behind them. Oh, Rob Wilson, after that lovely break, knocks on. What, 5 yards from his own line? Unforgivable, really. Puts Salford in a wonderful attacking position. Andy Gregory to feed.
Yeah, Blakely's in the standoff position, and Sean Brown out further wide. Referee not liking that one. Unusual. And Salford just actually not being very decisive. Well, that was a clear heel that time, and Blakely sets off from a standing start and is in full speed straight away. Right, Gregory going forward. Salford so close, but Hull defending well at this stage. Nothing's Quigley's there. Salford looking to go up a gear. Difficult pass, but Andy Gregory doing well to hang on to it before he loses it, and then David Young's there fortunately to pick it up, and this is tenacious tackling from Hull, playing as if it was still 0-0. Jonathan Quigley, he's made one magic break. He's going backwards. And Salford losing a lot of ground in this play. They started 10 metres from the line, they're now 22 from the line. Andy Gregory's there, he's got no runners with him particularly, but Naylor wants it now. Gets his pass away just. Eccles trying to go forward and over into the 20, but it's the last one. Salford all bunched on the right, nobody this way, goes back inside. And Blakely does it again, he does it again, and he's going to score again. Oh, superb. Oh, absolute magic. How does the lad do it? Absolutely brilliant, superb solo effort. Men all around him, he created the space, he kept on running and went round the full back, and even with men in attention still managed to ground the ball, and that surely seals it for Salford now. 2 tries to him, 2 superb solo efforts, and another goal. That's 6 goals from him. 6 goals and 2 tries, 16 points out of 33, and the man of the match as well. Superb play from Steve Blakely. And so finally Salford are putting the points on in this second half. Although in actual fact, Hull have had the better of the scoring in the second half, 16 to 12. A difficult midweek game for Salford to come against Widnes. But one, if they want a top 8 spot, is one now that they must be thinking in terms of a victory at Norton Park. Widnes not having had the best of starts to the season, and Ian Blease this time conceding possession, losing the ball in that tackle. 38 minutes gone, Salford 33, Hull 16.
So Terry Smack to feed. But one against the head. No, but Smack comes to behind the Salford scrum. Must have been offside there, but anyway. Rob Nolan. A tackling by Salford, just 1 minute left. Smack, John Sharp for the posts. Good run by Sharp, 5 yards short. Hull deep line going right. Smack goes. Dixon, oh, easy try by Dixon. Took it well, but really, I suppose it's the kind of try that you might not score a bit earlier on, but a few points in front. Last minute, Dixon saw his chance, dived over. Pretty static Salford defence. Nobody really came out and met Mac Dixon then. So it's 40 minutes on the clock. Terry Smack. Kicks, easy. It's Salford 33, Hull 22. So I imagine Smack will go to 6 for this last minute or so. So it's Blakely. Oh, ball goes dead. Bounce on the in goal. Another mistake. That's 2 mistakes on the kick-off, Steve, really. And the first mistake by Rob Wilson on the last tackle led to a try. Unforgivable mistakes. But it's Smack to drop out. Good kick by Smack. Hands halfway. Gary Tyler, look, he's making a lot of ground there. Oh, it's really flattened late in this game. Running so positively, but a big hit on him. Mike Gregory wanting it, running forward still very strongly as we get into injury time. And Salford still looking to finish this game on a high. The ball's going backwards. Andy Gregory finally gets it, squirms away from one, gets his pass on to Forber. Forber drops it, makes it his. And the handling that was impeccable in the first half just deserted a little bit, but late in the game, 33-22, 55 points we've seen. Good afternoon's rugby. There's the kick into space and the chase is on. Critchley's going back for it. Phil Ford's in support. Critchley doesn't quite get it. It goes on to Hull, and Hull are going to score another try in these 9 seconds. A great opportunist try. Superb combination for the chase and the follow-up. And the score is getting a respectability that it really shouldn't have. And Gary Jack, I think this is sort of detracting from a great Salford performance now, because they've been so much better than 33-26, and the hooter still hasn't gone as yet. I'm sure Gary Jack will be telling the Salford team that the game lasts for 80 minutes, but tell us about that one. It was a good try, Brian. Well, it was a good try. A little chip by Terry Smack. Ball bounced well for Rob Danby. Looks as though he'd met the line himself. Didn't turn it inside to Craig O'Donnell, who did make the line. That's 2 tries to O'Donnell. It's Smack. He kicks it. So it's 33-28. And is it time for Hull to get the winner? Salford are obvious. No, there isn't. There's the hooter. So final score then from the Willows. Salford 33, Hull 28.
The fight back didn't quite happen. It almost did. But let us Salford fans remember that superb first half display from Salford of intense, pressure, controlled rugby. Many openings created, and the man of the match, Steve Blakely, 2 superb opportunist tries for him. A great afternoon's rugby. Final score, Salford 33, Hull 28.